I'll give you guys a website at the end, and it'd be great to turn people out. Okay, so here we are. What have we learned over 2 centuries? Well, we've learned that people acquire rights through bloody battles, on the street protests, what you guys are doing now, making a ruckus, right? How do corporations do it? Oh, they go to the Supreme Court. No public debate, no nothing. I mean, that's corporate personhood, 1886 decision, not even debated in public. Not even debated, just done. So, sovereign self-government? Government? I don't think so. And what we have instead is we have the corporations molding our government, our economy, our environment to suit their needs. This is not a democracy, this is a corpocracy, and this is the politest thing that I can call it. Okay? And in a corpocracy, according to another Michigan Supreme Court law, the only value that corporations have to be concerned about is shareholder primacy, which has been interpreted to mean make money for their shareholders. Make money. No values attached. Where's the social wealth? Where's the environmental wealth? Gone. Okay? This is the invisible government. Now, the invisible government has molded the economy, as I mentioned, and let's take a look at what's good for our economy. How do we measure wealth? Okay, how do we measure growth? The gross domestic, I love it, gross domestic product, okay? So, for example, the oil spills cleanup in Alaska in 1989 dumped $2.5 billion into the economy. That grew our economy. It actually blipped the entire gross domestic product for the state of Alaska. So this means, literally this means, oil spills are good for the economy, the way we currently measure things. It means wars are good for the economy. War profiteering, Naomi Klein, shock doctrine, disaster capitalism. It means prisons are good for the economy. Think about who's #1 in incarceration. Prisons are going private, and labor in the prisons is cheap. And this is a really good one. Sick people are really great for our economy because you have to buy a lot of drugs and medicine and healthcare and clothes. Okay? So this is money exchanging hands, no values attached. That's what this is. And what it is it's our economy grows by cannibalizing social and environmental wealth. And it grows bigger and bigger and bigger until there's nothing left. This is the suicide economy, referred to by David Corton. So, is there another way to do business? Yes, there is. Look at what Europe does. Remember, Europe pays for sick people, right? So they don't want them. So if Europe said, forget it, we're going to prioritize social capital, keeping people, and environmental capital, keeping people healthy. And we're going to grow our economy to match that. So, let's take a look at how this model compares to what we've done in the United States, which is to prioritize economic capital at the expense of everything else.
Is there purposely no environment-economic overlap without social?
What we're going for is the triple bottom line economy, the sweet spot in the center. There is an overlap. Wait. Oh, no. I see what you're saying. Okay. No. That was not purposeful. I should change that.
Okay.
Okay, so check out the United Nations Development Report, and you'll see that how does the U.S. stack up to the other actually developed and developing nations? We're 35th in life expectancy. Maybe not so good. Maybe this other model works. We're 29th in infant mortality, which is long removed as a measure of healthcare, right? So basically what this means is we're paying more and getting less from our healthcare currently. We're 15th in gender empowerment, which is women in parliament and Congress. And we're first in 2 things. Greenhouse gas emissions and incarceration. Great. So maybe there is another way of doing business that we ought to take a look at. This is the face of the democracy crisis in America. It's loss, I mean, in America, on the streets, it's loss of homes, lost mortgages, lost jobs, people just reeling, while the corporations profit, and I'm going to put that on here, just, goes through the roof. If we want to shift, if we want the green jobs, if we want to shift our fossil fuels, if we want real health care, not to compromise that Congress settled for, then we have to reclaim our democracy. And what I started last year on the road advocating was amending the U.S. Constitution to affirm that only human beings have constitutional rights. So, democracy activists from around the country, and we formed a coalition. That's where we came up with the Campaign to Legalize Democracy in the United States, okay? And it's probably going to look like a series of amendments, like the Civil Rights Amendments, because there's so much wrong now, it's probably going to take more than one to fix it. But the point here is, okay, there's an urgency to this. We need to get off fossil fuels. We need no compromise. Passing an amendment can take a long time or not, if it's at a tipping point. So how do we do this? This is a huge, big deal, right? Well, let's take a look at what Eleanor Roosevelt said. I mean, she has all this experience. Human rights begin in small places. She nailed it. Close to home. The world of the person. The neighborhood, the factory, the school, the office. If you lose them there, you're going to look in vain for them in the rest of the world. So when I was going around the country for 240 days last year, advocating constitutional amendment, what I found happily was that there was plenty of communities that were actually fed up with corporate persons and passing local ordinances, usually around a site fight, uranium, bottled water. In other words, some big corporation had come into their town and said, oh, nice clean aquifer you got there. We're just going to, Nestle, for example, set up a little bottled water plant and take your water. And the community said no. And then the community discovered that these corporations have illegitimate rights. And the community had no ability to say no. So the communities organized and passed ordinances at the community level saying, in our jurisdiction, corporations, you do not have rights, and so we're saying no. Out you go. And so the corporations, of course, they have rights under federal law, so they've come back and they sued. But meanwhile, people are getting it, that we don't have the democracy that we think we have. Spokane, Washington just tried to pass by initiative the Second Bill of Rights. Okay, they got creamed, 20% to 80. But that's okay. The people yeah, I know. Humboldt is cool. Humboldt is the biggest jurisdiction county that's passed an ordinance, well, a law banning corporate personhood. Humboldt got, creamed because the corporations came back and said, yes, we have this. But the point is, the people are educated there, they've got it. They've got that we don't have a democracy. What's the next move, right?
Boycott Nestle!